Yes, we are good.
Okay. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining the session. Having been patient from last 3 weeks, I hope you enjoyed my session, like you understood some of the things. So today is the last session of this series, flow series. So the prime focus of this series was to make you understand what the flow is all about, how you are going to explore the different things that are available in flow. And the main agenda of today's last session is to make you understand what are the new features that has been bought in winter 23 release. So with that, I'll start the session. Okay, where is that? Yeah. So these are some of the features which has been bought into Winter 23 release. Sorry, I didn't check whether my screen is visible to you or not. So just can you confirm whether it's visible or not?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes. Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Just a minute. I think it's gone again. Just a minute, Sushant. I'll make the changes again.
Sure, sure.
Where is that? Okay. So actually, the problem was I was not getting that option again to share the screen. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yes, Aman. Yes, Aman.
Uh,
It's visible.
Yeah, thank you. So I was telling you about the Winter 23 release. So the first thing that you need to do is whenever any release comes in, so every 3 months, uh, there is something new that has been bought in by Salesforce. Okay. So if you want to test or if you want to know what are the new features that has been bought, what you can do is you can sign up for the pre-release org. Okay. So all you need to do is you just need to use this link. I'll just paste this link in the chat so you can try to find out the new features that has been bought in winter 23 release. So every release, if you want to see whatever the new features that has been bought, you can sign up and you can check all the new features that has been bought. So this basically helps, like suppose that updates has not been brought up to your sandbox or to your free developer org. So you can just log in, you can just sign up to this pre-release org and you can see whatever the new updates that has been bought. So the first update that has been bought in the flows is related to the screen flows, and in the last session I was not able to show you the screen flow. So I have designed this particular session in such a way that I will show you the winter 23 release features as well as the screen flow that we were not able to show you due to some technical glitch in my org. Okay. So with that said, as we know, whenever we want to create a flow, what we need to do is we need to come to our setup button and then into the flows in the quick find box, and then you click on new flow, right? So this will help you to come onto the flow builder. In that I will select screen flow. Okay. And the first thing is that I want to tell you about is, we know that there are two particular options to select the layout. First one is auto layout and the second one is freeform. So before these sessions, all of the session that I've shown you was done using freeform, right? So in this session, I will talk about auto layout as well. So in the auto layout, let me log into the org where there is no winter 23 updates. So let me give me a minute. So I'll show you the difference between the new release and the previous one that are there. Okay. Most of the time it happens with me that I forgot my password. So apologies for that. We'll go to this flows, go to new flow, a screen flow. So just focus on the URL, okay? This URL is of this is of the normal org, that is before Winter 23 release, and this URL is of the Winter 23 release. So both the place I'm using auto layout, and if you can see the difference in Winter 23, there is a wider screen, okay, and here there is no wider screen, like the screen is little small. And here if you see the first thing here, you can see the toolbox, right? But in Winter 23 release, this toolbox option you can't see it. So if you want to have a toolbox, since they wanted to make it the canvas area more bigger, more wider, so what did is they have introduced something called as toggle button. So if you toggle this, the toolbox becomes available. Okay, whereas in previous releases there was no option for toggling up and hiding the toolbox. So the toolbox becomes available with the help of toggle, so you get more space for your canvas. Okay, and the next thing that I wanted to show you is that in the screen element, okay, which is the part of interaction element, there is something called data table that has they have introduced. So this is the best thing. So before this, if you want to have a lightning data table, you could have done it using, obviously using LWC or Aura, but in Salesforce Winter 23 release, they have bought something called as Lightning Data Table in Flows. If you see in the previous release, there is nothing called what do you say, data table. So if I search here, there is nothing data table as such. Okay, so I'll take this example and I'll show you each and everything. So the first thing, whenever we drag any screen element, we have to give the label and API name. So I'll just name it as Winter 23 updates. Okay, and yeah, there's nothing to do with configure header and footer. I'll just remove this option called as pause. I don't want to have this pause button. Let it be there. So here I will show you account table. So because we are going to take the example of account object, so I will give it as account table name. Okay, now first thing, you have to give the name to the data table that we have done. The next thing that we need to do is configure data source. Now what does this configure data source? So basically, if you want to represent the data that is there in your org, if you want to show it into the tabular format, what you do is you get the records and then you have to show it, right? So here the source collection, so configure data source will be talking about configuring your rows and columns as well as from where you want to show the data. Now as I told you that I'm going to show the data from account object, right? So first what I have to do, I have to get the account object. So what I will do for that, I will go to the source collection and I will create a new resource. Okay, and here I'll select the data type as variable. Okay, and here I will select list of accounts. Data type will be record and the object will be account. Okay, now what happened? Variable lst account. Okay, this that's very weird. Where is that? Okay, let me try again. Is this resource created? Let me check. Yeah, that's there. Then why I'm not able to use that? No problem. I'll do it again. So I'll give this name as account Winter 23. And from here I'll drag that component data table And if you see, this data table is still in beta phase, so there might be possibility that it's still not working as per the expectations. So that might be one of the reason, but I don't know why it's not allowing me to use my resource. Very weird. I'll create another variable with the API name account list. Data table will be record again. Object will be account. And this time, artist. Okay, I'll change it to free one. Okay, now it's available. Okay, so now what I will do is I'll just give the API name. And the next thing, if you see here, there is something called row selection mode, multiple, single, and view only. So what is the difference between multiple, single, and view only is multiple will allow you to select multiple rows at a time. Single will have only radio button, and view only will not allow you to select any of the rows. Okay, you can just view the records that has been created. Oh, sorry, the records that has been uh, available there. Okay, now what it is saying that how many records, how many rows you want to select, all the rows that are available, how many rows you want to select. So before the release, winter 23 release, when winter 23 release was bought up, so at that time there was maximum row selection allowed it was 6, but now they have removed that restriction. You can select as many records as you want. So there is no, if you, I don't want to give any limitation for minimum row selection or maximum row selection. So if you want to have, then you can configure it from here. Okay, now the next thing is configure columns. So obviously you want to display some columns right into the data table. So what you can do is you can come here. Since you have selected in your source collection resource, you have selected the source collection as account object, so it will show you the fields which are off from the account object. So I will select some of the fields. Let me name it as account name, and then I will click on. So another best option thing is, like, you can customize that name also. I mean the label. So here the source name from the account object for the account name is name. So if you want to give anything else, so you can name it as, like, if I want to give it as account name, so I can do it from here. Okay. Wrap text and clip text, I don't need to explain what is the difference. So I know I hope everyone knows that. Account name. The next field, if I want to show something called revenue, I will click that and I'll click on done. Anything else, I'll just take it as rating, one more field. I'll click on done, and last field is called type. So here my fields are done. Now this particular part is done. Set component visibility, I don't need to, I'm not going to select that part because there is nothing for, there is no condition for this component to be visible. Okay. So with that, we are ready with our lightning data table. Now, how many of you feel that my records will be available? I mean, the records will be visible properly. Okay.
No, record won't be visible.
Any reason for that?
You didn't get the records from database, right?
Exactly. So yes, the important thing that I'm missing is, so let me first save this. Winter 23. because now I want to use auto layout. So yes, someone from the participants said that I have not got the records, right? So I was telling you the important of get record element, what it is. So it is nothing but the query that we use in our Apex programming, right? So this is very much similar to that. So what we need to do is now, if you see, what I'll show you first. So if you see here in the debug mode, so it takes this time. I'll click on run. And you see that the columns are visible but the records are not visible. Why? Because we have not queried the records. Okay, so what we will do here, you will use get record element, and I will mention it at get accounts. Object will be account. Is there any condition? Okay, I will, there is no need to have any condition, but still I'll take that if the account type equals direct. Okay, so I just give me the accounts whose account type is direct. Okay, and here how many records to store, I will select all, and where this records need to be stored. Okay, so this is very important. Since we have got all the records, where you want it to store, so I will store the records which I'm getting from this new get records element into my collections, which is account list. Okay, and I'll click on done. Now I'll click on save, and again I will click on debug and run. Now, if you see here, accounts are visible, but I'm not able to see my accounts. Can you tell me what mistake did I did here? So here, what I did is select variable to store account records. Obviously, the records got stored from get record, like the records which are coming from here got stored into the list which we have which we have created. Now the field mapping is not done. Okay, so in this collection we had some fields, so that we need to do. So I will give it as name, and then we selected something called annual revenue, that one, and the last one was type. Okay, so this part I didn't did it. Now I have mapped the things properly. Now again, if I click on debug, and if you see, it's visible, right? So any doubt in understanding anything till here?
So you are storing it in a collection, right? Again, we need to store the fields also in that collection
See,
variable.
actually the thing is why I did that is like, because see what we did, we have stored in this collection, but we are displaying the data from this collection, right? So configure columns, what we did, we are using account name, annual revenue and all that, right?
Okay,
So how will it understand which fields to display? So that's why we have configured these columns, and the data that we are getting from this will be mapped to that collection, so that in that only way we'll be able to show it on the screen.
okay.
Okay, fine. So this is one of the good thing about lightning data table with multiple rows. Okay, now the next thing that I wanted to show you was about in operator. Okay, so how many of you know what is in operator?
Yeah, so in SQL query, we used to write in operator, right? In the
Yes,
variable.
yes. So in operator is basically like I have some examples from the Google itself here. Okay, so there is something called in and not in operator. Okay, so what it does is, if you want to have, like suppose that you have multiple things available in your contact object. Okay, and if you see this example, there is something called rows and scene, and I've selected in operator. So what it will do, it will give me the records which are from this particular name that I have given here. Okay, so like if I have collections of IDs and if I want to store only some of the IDs, okay, so that we can do using an operator. Now you will understand better when I will use this in my flow. So till now we have seen that we can see the records that I have there. I have got from the get accounts. Okay, now I will show you the importance of in. So what I will do first is I will use loop. Okay, now what I will do is I will loop over the accounts, which accounts which are already been selected. So I will tell you the use case. The use case is whatever accounts that I am selecting here. Okay, so I want to show you this account that I've selected here below that. Okay, so how can we do that is I'll just show you loop over accounts, and collection variable is count list. Where is that? Not this one. Count table dot selected rows, first item to last item, and I'll click on done. Okay, now since I've looped over the accounts which is there, I need to use an assignment operator, and why I'm using that you will understand in few minutes. Okay, so I'll use assignment operator. I will count IDs. Here I will create again a new resource. Have patience, you will understand why I'm doing all this. So I'll give it this name as again account IDs, and here the data type will be with text because I want to store the accounts, the records of the accounts which has been selected from there. Okay, so I'll give it a text because I'm just storing the IDs. Selected. And here I will click and to add, and from here I will select current item from loop dot id. So what am I doing here? I've created a collection of account. I mean, I've created a list of account IDs. Okay, and in this list which I've created, I am adding the account IDs that I have selected, like whatever I have selected here. Okay, whatever I have selected here, I am just adding all that IDs into this list that I have created. Okay, now why I am doing this you will understand again here. So what I will do, I'll again use, okay, that is, again I will use get records. Okay, so here I will use get records and get s- selected accounts. Okay, here the object will be again account, and here I will set the, where is it? Okay, yes, I'll just keep it as it is, and here I will store. Okay, where did I made a mistake? Mm, 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 mm. Yes, here. IDs. What is that name? Sorry, I forgot that name. Okay, selected account IDs. it. Just a minute. Oh shit. What I did. Yeah, I pressed the wrong button. Yeah, this is there. Right. ID. N. And current item IDs. Yeah, and done. Okay. Next is screen. Okay, let me tell you what I did. So first thing first, I'll start from here. So what I was telling you is the importance of in operator. Okay, so what I did, I have looped over the accounts which I have selected from the screen. Okay, just let me know if you're not able to, because the screen is a little small, if you're not able to see clearly. So if you see here, I have looped over that accounts, and here I have created a collection of lists. So where I will add those accounts which I have selected from the previous screen. Okay, I have added to this list of the account IDs that I've created. After that, the next thing that I have done is I have got those accounts. So first let me change the name. It is not the correct name. And here I have mentioned that condition, give me the IDs from this account IDs, okay, in using in operator. So before this, there was no in and not in operator for your this before this release. Okay, so you see here, I mean, before this release, I'll show you. So if I use the get record element before Winter 23 release, and if I select here account object, and here I will select ID, and if you see here, there is no option to select to have I in and not in operators, which is available only in Winter 23 updates. Okay, so what I've did is I have said that give me the IDs from this particular IDs that you have got, and then I'm doing the next thing that I'm doing is I'm just showing up the accounts which has been selected by the user. Okay, so I will click on save, and then I'll click on debug, and it's time to test it. So click on run, and I will select So as I told you, right, now there is limited record because I have given the condition to have the account which is of the type direct. So now you can select more. Earlier it was only allowed to select 6 records. So now you can select more than 6 records, but the limit is on a single lightning data table. In one go, you can see only 15 records, right? I hope you know. I hope everyone knows that. So even though the limit is to select unlimited number of accounts in one go, you can select only 15 because on a single UI you can see only 15 records. That's the standard functionality. If you want to increase it, that you can do it using LWC and all that thing. So what I'll do, I'll just select Edge Communication, Grand Hotels and Resorts, and I'll click on next. So if you see here, it is working properly. I've selected 2 accounts and then these 2 accounts are visible. Okay. So with this, there is one more feature that I wanted to talk about. I forgot to tell you in the beginning is this. There's something called lookup. Okay, so lookup is not the new feature they have introduced, but they have enhanced the lookup part. Okay, so earlier there was it allowed it to select only one, maximum one selection was possible for the lookup element, lookup input element that was available. Now you can select up to 6. Okay, so I will give this as account lookup. I'll give this as API name. Field API name, I'll tell you what it is talking about. So I just want to do account lookup to contact. Okay, so first what we need to select here is object API name. Okay, so here we will give the name as contact. Label, we can give it as anything, but I'll give it as again as contact. And in contact, what is that field which is having relationship, which makes the relationship with account, right? So we all know that the field is called account ID. Now it's very important for you to understand that if you give the API name in an incorrect way, okay, so it will create a problem. Okay, now if you see here, even though it is showing up the lookup, here it is showing the problem. Looks like you don't have access to this field, or the object or field API name is not valid. Okay, why? Because the API name of account ID is something like this. If you see here, if I do that, it's gone. Okay, so whenever you mention the API name of the lookup field, be very specific. If you do not mention in a correct way, it will start throwing up the error. Okay, and maximum selection, so you can see, if you see here, it is showing the default value is 1, so you can select at max 6. Okay, so I will just use the same thing and I will click on done, and then I will click on save. Now this is done, and I'll click on debug, then click on run. And if you see here, so I will, you can select the all the contacts up to 6. Okay, so I'll just name something from the here itself. So I'll select Grand Hotels, and then United Oil and Gas, something again United, Dickinson, I think that is the, yes, and there is something called S-Force. Yes. So if you see here, now I've selected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, if I'm trying to select more than 6, like obviously if you, it will allow you to search for the more accounts, but if you try to select those accounts, it won't happen. Okay, so let us try to search for University of Arizona. Okay, so see, I'm able to search for that University of Arizona, but it is not allowing me to select more than 6. Okay, so that is one of the features which has been bought in Winter 23 updates. So these 3 features. Other than this, let me go to my
So
document and
Aman, one question here. For in the lookup, multi-select lookup. So
Mhm.
have you configured it for 6, or it's a like a limitation? We can only select 6.
Yeah, that's the limitation. Maximum you can select up to 6. You
Oh,
can't select more than that. Currently it's a limitation. Maybe in the future they will increase the limitation. In the previous release, the limitation was for only 1. Only one lookup you can have, but now there is 6. If you try to do more than that, it won't allow you to do so. Okay, fine. There is no response, so I will take it as that you understood.
Yes, yes, Aman. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, okay. So the toolbox is hidden in auto layout that I have shown you. The next thing was search elements. So this is the most beautiful feature they have implemented. So if you see in the previous release, let me show you. So suppose I want to select any particular element, okay, and I don't know, I just don't remember the name. Like here, this is the problem in auto layout. In free form, you can select, you can see all the elements that are available. Okay, but in auto layout, if you want to select any elements, like suppose get records I want to select, so I have to scroll down and I have to search for that get records and then I will get it, right? But in Winter 23, if I suppose here, if I want another get records in this, okay, just for example I'm telling you, so you can just, instead of scrolling down, you can just use this option. You can just go to this search which is available here and you can search that particular element. Okay, so this is one of the important feature. The next important feature is called cut and paste elements. So what is this cut and paste element? So if you see here, like suppose, do I have any element? Okay, I'll use this. I've already have any one flow. Okay, so I'll use this. This is off before Winter 23 release, this particular flow. Okay, so here if I want to use this element, I mean I want to use this element at a different location, so I just need to copy it, and here if you click here, it will allow you to paste copied elements. Now if I have made a mistake, I wanted this particular, this create account records element before this screen, okay, just for example I'm telling you. So what if I wanted to do that? So that is not possible. What you can do is you have to delete, or you have to copy and you have to paste it here, and then you have to delete this element. Okay, so keeping that thing in mind, what in Winter 23 what they bought is you can cut and you can paste it somewhere else. So I'll show you that as well. So suppose this is the screen element which I want to have before this get record. So I can just use cut element, okay, and I will go up and I will click here and it is pasted directly. Okay. So any doubt, anyone? Okay, I'll take it as no. Another important feature was update related records. Yeah, this I'll tell you. And so this too I'll tell you now. So update related records. So this is it from the screen flow. Okay. Now if you want to have the screen flow on your particular screen, right? So this I didn't showed you in the previous session. So suppose I want a screen flow onto my home page. So how can I do this? So you can go to your home screen, okay, and then you click on this setup gear icon and click on edit page. And after that, what you need to do is just wait for the page to reload, and here you can search for flow. Okay, okay, let it takes time to load. And then you can just drag this flow element from there and you can drop it here. Now in this, again it's taking some time to load. Click here, okay, and here you can select the flow which you have created. So I have given the name of Winter 23 updates, so that is the flow, okay, and then you click on save. So in the previous session I told you that you can have your flow onto the home page, record page, bar, onto the experience board and all that thing. So I was not able to show the practical part of that, so that this is the practical implementation. Okay, so I don't know if you can see the screen or not, home page. So let us take time. Okay, come on. Okay, it's not visible. Did I made some mistake? I think I have not activated that page. Mm-hmm. Let me check. Yes, I know what mistake I did. So let me go to flow again and I will drop it here. And this time I'll click on save. Okay, no, wait. Wait, man. Here I will select Winter 23 updates. So this we did before. I have saved. Now the next thing that I missed it, I didn't click on the activation part. So until unless you make it active for your home page, the recent update that you have bought will not be there. So this I missed. Now it's proper activation successful. We'll go back and check it now. So is that visible? Yep, it's coming up. Okay. Now you have that accounts, and if I click on to select account, so and I click on next, so it will show me that two selected accounts. Again, if I select all the accounts and I click on next, so it will show me all the accounts that has been selected. Cool feature, right? So that is done. Now there was something that was mentioned in the document, something called update related records option in record trigger flow. So for that, I will go again and I will click on new flow, and this time I will select record trigger flow. Okay. And I'll click on create. Now, what is this update? What is this talking about? Update related record options in record trigger flow. So if you want, if you're updating something in your account and you want that that particular thing should update to your related contacts as well. So previously what would used to happen is, if I want to achieve this functionality, I have to query all the contacts, then I have to loop over that contacts, and then from that the related contacts which is related to this particular account, I have that was possible through to get that related contacts which is related to this account, and then the update were happening. Okay, but now Salesforce has bought another update. So suppose I'm making some update in account object, account records, and then I want that update should happen to the its related contacts as well. Okay, and this should happen when a record is updated. So I've taken the use case. I'm mentioning that use case is whenever the billing country is getting changed. So I'll just mention that condition. So I just want that billing country field should get changed to billing country field should get copied to the mailing country of the contact. Okay, so I'll just keep this condition as I mentioned. And since we have selected this is change, please others be on mute while I'm explaining. Thank you. So yeah, is change is done, and then we'll go ahead. Since I want the related records to get updated, so I'll select this option, the second option, and then we'll click on done. Now I told you, right, when account is getting updated, I want related contacts to get updated. So here, if you see, you will get that option. Okay, let me go down. Okay, and click on update records. So here I will select update related contacts. And here, if you see this option, I was talking about this update records related to the account record that triggered the flow. So directly you can do it. You select this option, select records related to the account. From here, obviously you'll select record, and in that, whatever things that are related to this account. Okay, so if you see this objects, assets, you all know very well, right? Assets, and then uh, opportunity, all these are related to account. Okay, in this I will select contacts. Okay, so whenever I'm updating account, I want contact to get updated. Okay, set filter conditions. I'm not setting any filter conditions. I will, okay, I'll just set the filter condition that uh, mailing country should be null. Only then. So since it's a mailing country is a text field, I'll select this one. So be very specific in selecting this and the next option that I'm telling you equals null. So always select, I have emphasized this before as well, always use this particular equals empty string null when you are dealing with the alphanumeric characters or the field which is of type data type of text. Okay, when the field is of data type of number numeric, you use this one, this operator is null. Okay, so this problem I have faced a lot when I was doing the development, so that the same thing we shouldn't repeat. So I'm just telling you about the best practices for the flows as well. Okay, now next field, set fields for the contact records. So I want that my mailing country should have the field, have the value of my record, that is billing country. Okay, so I'll just do it here and I'll click on done. Now let's see whether it's working properly or not. I'll save it. Again, I'll give it as winter 23 updates for record trigger flow. And I'll click on save, click on activate. Obviously you can debug before doing that, but we are running short of time, so I'll directly show you here. So I'll just go to a account. I'll just create a new account, test flow, just the basic name I always give. And here I will click on save. Now the condition was whenever the billing countries change. Okay, so if you see here details, here we will go to billing address, and in this, okay, I missed one part. Actually, what I did is I have this account created, but there is no contact related to it. So first I will create a contact related to it so that I can show you what I'm actually trying to achieve. So I will give it as again Aman Tiwari. And since this is related, now I'll keep this mailing country as null, as blank, and I'll click on save. Okay. Now since the mailing country is blank, what I said is that I want that whenever I keep change to the billing country, here I will keep it as India. I want that change to reflect in the related contacts as well. So where is that save button? Click on save. So is changed, the condition has met. Now let's see in the related records of contact whether that country has got updated or not. So go here, go to the related tabs, sorry, details tab, and go down. And if you see here, the mailing country has been updated. Okay, so that's the power of the new update that has been bought at, that I was talking about, is that update related record options in the record trigger flow. The beautiful thing that they have bought is formula checking in formula builders. So you can have that thing, you can see it here. The first thing I'll deactivate this, and if you see here, there is something called formula editor. Okay, we can select this option called formula evaluates to true. So before there was no option called check syntax. So if you see here, this is the before winter 23 release org. I will try to get anything from, like, is this record trigger flow? No, this is screen flow. This is, I will try to show in the formula evaluation. I have already created a flow of record trigger, so I will show it from here there itself. So yeah. So here, if you see, if I select this option called as formula evaluates to true, okay, they has bought it here. So I don't know, like when I was when I was reading the document, then this check syntax was not available. Maybe for the formula editor, when the formula field which you are trying to do for that, it might be there. But they have introduced this called check syntax, where you can select and you can write your formula and you can check that syntax. Can anyone tell me? I think in the previous session I have shown you where you can have validation inputs, where we can use this particular thing which I'm talking about in the screen flow. Okay, I don't want you to bombard with too many things, so leave it as it is. So
The check syntax only, right?
yes, that
Yeah,
was
in the validation rules, we have to copy paste and check the syntax. Then only we have to copy the formula, like that you told in the previous session.
yes, validate input. Yeah, yes, exactly that I'm talking about. In the previous session, I was telling you, right? That problem we saw. But here
Yeah.
you can have it directly. You can check syntax option is available in the Winter 23 updates. Thanks. So it seems that you guys are aware of it. Okay. So any other thing? Lookup screen elements. Yes, workflow rule screen creation is disabled. So this is one of the important things. So people, if you are still stuck to the workflow rule, get out of it, because workflow rule is no longer available. Okay. So if you see here workflow rules, and the same thing if you try to see in the previous release, like before Winter 23 release, let it pop up. So workflow rules. Okay. And here, apologies, my internet connection is low, so you have to bear with that. I'll click on continue, and here if you see, I'm still getting the option to get new rule. So this is before Winter 23 org. Okay, even though it gives you a warning, it is allowing you to create a new workflow rule. But after Winter 23, like from now onwards, if you go down and if you click on continue, there is no option, there is no button. Okay, new rule. See, there is no option to create a new workflow rule from here. Directly it is showing it creating flow builder. Workflow rule aren't enabled. Okay, so you have to be very much aware of this as well. So workflow rule is not available from Winter 23 onwards. So that is one of the prime reason for you to get upgraded with flows, because as I told in the first session itself, like from October onward, there will be no option to create new workflow rule, and by 2025 I am very much sure that there will be no option to create new process builder as well, max by 2025. So there will be no workflow rule, there will be no process builder, there will be only flows. So please keep that things in mind. Go through this series that we have curated for you, and try to make yourself more comfortable with the flow. Okay, this is nothing that this tool is only for admins. This tool has been designed in such a way that it is beneficial for both administrator and developer. Okay, there are lot many things that you can achieve through flows without writing even a single line of code. So I think I am done. And one more thing, if you feel like how will I understand whether my org is Winter 23 updated or not? So this particular brandy is the, what do you say, is the symbol of that your org has Winter 23. If you go into Winter 22 and if you refresh this, so there will be Einstein. Okay, but in Winter 23, it is brandy. You will understand why I am showing this. When you'll go to Kaut, you'll understand this. Okay, so with that, I am done with my session with this series. So this marks the end of the series. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, or we are good to close.
I mean, my question is that can we
Just
have
a
a page
minute.
in a
Just a minute. Just a minute. So, Sushant, for the question answer, you want to record it or shall we stop the recording?
Yeah, let me record.
No, recording is on. I was asking like for the question answer, you want to have the recording on or shall we stop it?
So it can be on, because it will help these kind of doubts will help
Okay,
other participants who will see
sure,
those
sure.
videos. Yeah.
Yes, David.
Yeah, and thanks, Aman. So, like, can we have like page navigation at the bottom of the screen flows? Like we are seeing that, right? So, if you have more than 100 records, can we have the page navigation as
Mhm.
we have in?
Yeah, so that's the limitation. Currently, there is nothing called page navigation. So if you want to achieve that, we have to again go through the LWC part where we need to do that page navigation. Currently, it's not there.
Thanks, Aman. Thanks.
Currently, it's
Yeah.
in beta version, so might be
Yeah.
when the Salesforce release the official version. So in that, maybe they will release with the page mission. But that's a good point.
Thank you.
No problem. So till the time we are answering the questions, if anyone is hesitant to ask by unmuting themselves, they can post it that questions in the chat.
So Venkat, for your question, yeah, basically we are planning some new sessions. It's not scheduled yet, but definitely in November as well, you will see some new updates from our side for the upcoming sessions. But it's not scheduled yet. We are still working with some of our other speakers, and they will be scheduled very soon. So do check out our official website, and you will get notifications as well. Okay, great. I think this is a great session. Thanks, Aman, for sharing the knowledge with all of us. I think everyone get a benefit of this entire series. Without wasting my time, let's start with the quiz. So today, no Kahoot,
Oh,
something else. I mean, it will be MCQ questions, but
but with the other platform.
yeah, but with that other platform. So just give me a second. I think I am signed out.
Thank you, John.
Shoot.
So might be possible that you might be feeling that all the things are not covered. Obviously, flow is a very vast thing, and my only motive was to make you comfortable with the basic things. So if you still feel that I have not covered anything, yeah, I'm just click away. I mean, you can just connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter, and we can solve it out if you feel that I have missed anything. And again, as I said, there is always a room for learning. That might be possible that I have missed something or I have not explained in a proper way as you were expecting. So even I always believe that there is no one expert in anyone there is no one expert in anything. Okay, so even I might have made a mistake. I'm not saying that I'm 100% right. So if anything that I'm not done in a right way, you can always tell me, okay, man, you could have done this in this way. Yes, I will improve it, and I will try to be in a more better way in the next time. Okay, so that's all. And other than this quiz, there is one more thing. I think that is related to your social media handle. So we have two what do you say, two competitions kind of thing. First is quiz, and the second, like, there are two ways you can win swags. The first way is through quiz, and the second way is the social media handle. So the maximum number of tweets for this session that we are holding up today will get you through the swags. Like, what you need to do is you need to go to your LinkedIn or Twitter, mostly on Twitter, and then you just need to tell people about how you felt about the session, just your mouth of words and all that things. And the maximum number of maximum number of likes and the comments will get the swags. That's the rule, right, Sushant?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you are not winning through this quiz, the another way to win the swag is through social media handles. Just spread out the words. Sushant will tell you about the hashtags that you need to use, because through hashtags we will be able to track the people who have the maximum number of likes and comments for their tweets. Sushant, we can stop the recording.
Yes, you can stop the recording.
Yeah, I'll stop it. No worries.